Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here at the home studio. Yes, it's Labor Day weekend. We're having a great ass time. And we're going to deliver to you a band that you've heard me talk about these last few weeks, a band with members who have a long history here in our city. It brings me great pleasure to welcome Big Dave Crow and the man Stephen Bishop, formerly of PITBULL DAYCARE. The band that they're leading now is called Thunderous. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Great to have you here at the humble abode.
Thanks for having us, Rob. I appreciate it, man. It's big fan for many, many years.
Oh, God, that makes me feel happy inside, man. You know, I've always been a big fan of yours, too, and I've always loved what you do on stage. And I think what I love more about you is just the integrity that you have as a musician and someone who loves heavy music. So I'm with you, man. And Big Dave Crow, he's new to us, but we love him, too.
Let me get down here. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having us.
Lots to talk about. I think it's quite interesting that you guys are going to have a big show tomorrow, and we're going to get into that later tonight. But the band Thunderous, really, you guys dropped your EP not too long ago, and it's been making a lot of big waves. I became a quick fan of it, and we're going to talk all about the EP. But Bishop, I want to start with you because, as I mentioned right now, you know, you led PITBULL DAYCARE for many years, 8 years, 9 years, a long time. 12 years. Yeah, 12 years. And then kind of when PITBULL demise around 2005, 2006, it kind of seemed that you just kind of dropped out of the music scene. And correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of had relocated your day-to-day and to other parts of Texas, and it kind of seemed like you just kind of dropped off. So to share a little bit with those people now who are kind of reconnecting with you, all your old fans from back in the day, are saying, "Oh, Bishop's back." Talk a little bit about your decision kind of to focus on other parts of your life and then kind of your decision to come back into music.
Okay, yeah, in 2006, PITBULL DAYCARE did the Masturbate tour with Ministry and Revolting Cocks. It was a great tour. You know, we did 5 months on the road, Canada and the full U.S. Then after we came home, you know, we were really trying to get the new record signed on that tour. And, you know...
Was that the You and Me and the Devil Makes 3?
Yeah, that was the final PITBULL DAYCARE album, You, Me, and the Devil Makes 3.
I love that record, dude. I still jam that record today.
To me, that was my favorite album out of all of them, you know. God. But, you know, it was like, just like anything, there's an ebb and a flow in the music. You know, industrial music just wasn't quite that cool in the mid-2000s. You know, you had like more like the emo, screamo, like post-hardcore stuff was going on, and we just weren't relevant anymore. So we kind of fell out of love with the industry and kind of fell out of love with each other. You know, there was a lot of tension between the guys in the band. You know, it just didn't work out. And then we played a show in Houston one night, and in the van on the way home back to San Antonio, we said maybe we should regroup, and we never saw each other again.
Wow.
For like 6 years. That was it. You know, it's just one of those things. It just happens, you know, like we ran our course. We knew that, you know, that the industry had kind of changed. We needed to change. And so I split. I got to a point in my life where I was like, I was after PITBULL, I did Top Dead Center for a while. And Top Dead Center was a great band, heavy rock and roll, real nasty. You know, it was like just trash rock. I loved it.
Were you playing bass in that band?
No, I was singing in that band. And Trey Davis from... Death Dodger was playing guitar. Chris Krieger was playing bass at the time, you know, and we went through a gamut of drummers, you know, and so it was just one of those things. Then after I left Top Dead Center, I told Trey and the guys, I said, "Hey man, you know, why don't you go ahead and get, you know, Mikey's interested. Why don't you have Mikey sing?" And he took over, and then whatever happened, you know, with that band. So around that time, I decided to just haul ass. I decided to split San Antonio. You know, I thought, you know, I'd wake up every day, I'd crack open a beer, do a bong load, and just like hang out. And I was not living a healthy life. And I just kind of woke up one morning. I said, excuse me if my language. I said, what the fuck am I going to do? You know, for retirement or my midlife or whatever like that. So I decided, I was like, you know, I need to get the hell out of San Antonio. I need to regroup, because one thing about San Antonio, and I've traveled all over the world, San Antonio rules, and everybody here rules. And I have a very addictive personality, so I just had to get the hell out of here, man. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. So I hauled ass to the Gulf Coast. I started a new career in the marine industry. I work in oil, and here I am today. But I had an opportunity where had a lot of time on my hands, kind of regrouped, started writing music again, rekindled old flames, with like some guys in the band, and brought in other guys that I've known for half my life, and just now I'm probably happier now than I ever was in PITBULL Daycare, because I'm doing music that I love, music that I wrote, doing things I've never done before, with people that I truly respect, admire, and kind of fell back in love with the band as well as the game.
Well, for some of you out there who may not know, Bishop is referring to also veteran guitarist Todd Connally, also known as Bird from PITBULL Daycare, Big Dave, and then on drums, Jason Shakes West. So, God, you got a great lineup there. And before we move on from that, obviously, you and Bird go way back. I've always kind of known that you guys have had this special relationship. But even special relationships sometimes need a break. But when I first heard about Thunder Horse and I saw you guys together again, I was like, man, what a great reunion. I'm sure not only for the fans, but also just for them as people and friends. What was it like to kind of get back with him? Because TC's always kind of maintained, as subtle as he is, he still stays busy, and he's always kind of just done music. That's his thing. But when I saw him rekindle his friendship and of course working together musically with you, I said, oh man, that's something that I know that just didn't come half-heartedly. It had to have been a big decision on both of these gentlemen's part to commit to a new group together.
Well, of course, after PITBULL, Todd did a lot of projects. He was with, he worked with Brian Scott with Union Underground, Cult of Follow. Fantastic stuff. Was a great performing musician with that band. And he also has an unbelievably awesome band, Evil United, which I think you've done interviews with them before. And I'm a huge fan of them. Anything that McMasters does and Todd, back in the day when it was Donnie on bass, and then you have, Shakes on drums. It's a killer band. Well, it's like I was just writing this stuff, I'm a little more mature. I can't wear leather skirts and eyeliner like I used to, in my mid-20s. So I was like, what? I think I'm gonna slow stuff down a little bit and I'm gonna play the music that inspired me to become a musician in the first place. So I started noodling around on guitar and got with Todd, and it really was an accident. I had like a whole album worth of music, and I sent it to Todd, and I said, hey man, I'm kind of stuck here on some arrangement stuff. Would you mind listening to it at least and maybe giving me some pointers? Yeah. Well, Todd, I sent him all the stuff on Dropbox. We shared some files, and he heard it, and he's like, dude, I really, really like this stuff. And he just sent back like some killer arrangements, added a whole bunch of stuff that I never would have thought of myself. Yeah. And it's because, out of all the guys in the band, Todd is like the guy that, him and I were always like this. I mean, we lived together for years. We've been brothers, we've been enemies. Like we just have one of those relationships, and we feed off of each other artistically. We're just like, we really, really work very well together. Yeah. All the PITBULL stuff, we did all the programming together, a lot of the arrangements. It was Todd and I, and in order to be able to write with him again and arrange with him again and kind of produce the music was massive for me. It was a big deal to me. Like, it was very humbling because of his musicianship, and also it was inspiring because he got me to do stuff that I've never played guitar. Yeah. I play guitar, but I've never played guitar live. Yeah. And he encouraged me to kind of he's like, hey man, you're good at what you do. Get up there and do it. So if it wouldn't have been for Todd, then we wouldn't be here where we are today.
Let's talk also too. I think one of the things that was intriguing to me too is when I heard the Thunder Horse music, totally different than what you were doing with PITBULL, from that kind of industrial, heavy guitar laden sound to now like this really kind of slow. And I don't like to use the word sludge. I was talking about it before you got here, because when I hear it on my stereo, it doesn't seem as down tuned as like some sludge, but the guitars are just right in your fucking face, but yet it's slow and it's heavy and it's really just pounding away. So huge transition there. How did that kind of come about for you?
Man, we've had a real struggle trying to identify the band. You know, like some people are like, "Oh, you're real sludgy, you're doomy." You know, you're like you have all these aspects of your music. You're kind of a cultish or whatever. It's like
Southern kind of
yeah,
rock.
Southern metal. Yeah. And I appreciate all the accolades. You know, but you know, you can call it whatever the hell you want. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
The way I label it is, it's music that we like for people that we like. And if you don't like it, that's cool, whatever. Yeah. But if you do, fucking hey, man, let's party. Yeah. You know, and that's what it is. Like, I'm not trying to do anything, you know, I'm not trying to emulate anybody. I'm trying to just play what I hear in my head, and I'm hoping that people will just dig the what I get. Great. And Dave wrote, I mean, crazy enough, like, there's only 6 songs on the record, it's over 45 minutes long, but we came right out of the gate with a song that I didn't even write. It was Dave. You know, Dave wrote Demons Speak. It was all his idea. The whole riff, the whole arrangement, everything was his. All I did was the lyrics, and it turned out to be like the one that we came out of the gate with. You know, it's just that's the way we felt, man. But you know, like you can call it whatever you want. I really don't give a shit. We're just it's just a metal band from Texas. That's all we are. And some Okie guy that plays bass.
So that's a
Born in Fort Worth.
That's a great segue into chatting with you, Big Dave, because you're not like you're kind of like the odd man out, because these guys have long history together in PITBULL Daycare. So share a little bit with the people out there a little bit about your musical background and how you kind of got involved with Thunder Horse, especially not being even from our state.
Well, I've known Todd forever. I grew up with him.
How was that? Like.
Well, his mom and my mom went to college together.
Oh, okay.
So I've known him since I was, you know, I don't know, 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like entire life.
Yeah, I would say he's my oldest friend. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's my best friend from ever, you know. And,
Wow.
and then, you know, so I've been along with Todd. I played with him before, obviously in high school bands, in Los Angeles when we lived out there. And then, you know, I would live with him different times whenever we'd move around. Of course, I remember when he was going to try out Bishop. And, you know, they had some singer for a short period of time, and he was all excited about going to meet Bishop, you know. And after then, it just took off, you know. And then I met them. Those guys have just been fantastic. They were a great band. I did completely different style of music, but I always knew about them. And whenever they were around, I'd go see them. I saw them in Oklahoma City with King Diamond, I think, on the King Diamond tour.
Nice.
I
Yeah. So.
think you saw some Metal Church too at one time. Yeah. It was like crazy. Like we did some crazy tours, man.
Metal Church played it. Was that in Oklahoma or in LA, or was that?
It was Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Was that? I just remember the theater, like Will Rogers Theater, I think, at Oklahoma City. When you guys played with
I think that was
that was King Diamond.
Yeah, it was King Diamond, and then after that was Metal Church, and then I think we came back through with Ministry on the.
Okay.
It was great. We did a lot of crazy tours, man.
I'd love to go to a metal show in Oklahoma. I bet that's an experience.
We may be booking one soon.
Also interesting, the name Thunder Horse, and we're going to talk about the artwork in a little bit, because when I saw the artwork, I was very taken back by it. But the Grim Reaper's on the horse. Is Thunder Horse the horse of the Grim Reaper? Talk a little bit about the name Thunder Horse for us.
So I'll give you the lowdown on Thunder Horse. Okay, so first of all, the artwork is by a guy named Pig Hands. Unbelievable artist out of the UK. I've been following him for a long time. He's fantastic. He's amazing. He does a lot of album covers, and the guy is just, and you know, it took me a long time to hire this guy, and it.
You're on the waiting list.
Oh yeah, and it cost me a couple bucks, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, thank God for the oil industry. That's the guy that I want, you know. So, you know, Pig Hands did the album artwork, but people always go, "Oh, Thunder Horse, is that Death Clock shit?" You know, I'm like, no, man. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, I like Death Clock. Everybody likes Death Clock, right? You know, but the name Thunder Horse comes. I was on a BP vessel in the Gulf of Mexico called the Thunder Horse PDQ, production drilling and quarters, right? It's the biggest drilling rig in the entire Gulf of Mexico. Well, that's where I stole the name from. I totally went there and I was like, what a great name.
That's what they call the rig.
Yeah, the rig. Well, it used to be called the Crazy Horse, but then they got sued by an Indian nation that I cannot disclose. If you look it up and you can figure it out. And then they had to change the name to the Thunder Horse.
Right.
So I went from Crazy Horse to Thunder Horse, and when I got out there, I was like, this is just like one of the most bitchin' names I've ever heard in my life, But the way they spelled it all as one word, Thunder Horse.
Right.
So what I did, being the bright guy that I am, I said, I'll capitalize the thunder and the horse. Yeah. I'll make it 2 words.
There you go.
So, there you have it.
There we have it.
So that's where the name came from. It has nothing to do with the Death Clock. Even though I like other guys. But, it's just one of those deals that the name was just too good to pass on.
It seems like it all worked out.
It did. I feel it did.
I feel it did too. Okay, so now let's talk about the EP. The EP is already out for all you people out there who want to get your hands on it after this interview. Be sure to look for it on all music media outlets. It's just a self-titled debut called Thunder Horse. Be sure to look for it. Bishop, 6 songs, as you mentioned, on this EP. All pretty distinctive, really killer songs, kind of just riding out, and gives you lots of opportunity to enjoy the song and the music, lots of opportunities to headbang and really get into it at 45 minutes, man. So, again, were these kind of all tracks that you said that you had kind of just put together and then TC kind of helped you arrange them and put them together, or were some of these songs kind of written after you guys finally reconnected in person? I mean, talk a little bit about the formation of these 6 songs.
Quite a bit of the songs were just ideas that I had, and then Todd went back and helped me arrange it. So Todd and I were co-writers on quite a bit of them. Like I said, Dave really came out of the gate swinging on the debut release.
So how soon was Big Dave involved after you guys kind of got together? Like right away, or did you guys initially say let's just kind of release this EP, or was the plan always let's put a band together, release this EP, and do shows? I mean, was that always the plan?
Honestly, man, it was never really even meant to be a band. I just wanted to release a record.
Yeah, that's
but Todd was just like, dude, like Dave digs the music, Jason digs it, Shakes. Let's maybe we should get together and kind of jam out. And then it just happened. It was really never meant to be anything. And then Dave brought this song, to the mix, and a couple other songs. Jason brought some stuff, and
okay, cool.
it was never meant to be a band. It just turned into one. Yeah. And that was kind of, it took me aback a little bit because I wasn't expecting that, and but I couldn't have been more happy that it turned out that way.
Yeah. I mean, I have to just provide some insight for the people who are watching this interview, but Bird's playing on this record is just amazing. Oh God, I mean, that guy.
The writing of that record. Steven pretty much had most of the songs, him and Todd, I guess, or I don't know. But we got together for 4 days, and we took, a semblance of melodies, riffs, and next thing you know, we had a full record. It was incredible to me how quick that came together. Yeah, it was pretty much, we had the basic general ideas, and then just pieced everything together, arranged it, and tied it all together in that 4-day practice period. Is how I remember it. Sound right?
3 practices in 4 days.
Yeah,
and
and
that's how the album was written.
How quickly did you guys start recording too? Because I mean, it sounds really good too. The production on it's just really good. And who did that?
So it's kind of weird, 2018 is a different animal. So like when PITBULL would write a record, right? We'd go into the studio all as a band, and we'd jam stuff out and record, with
have a producer.
Yeah, and producer, and spend all this money. Well, the Thunder Horse album was written each guy in his bedroom, and then whatever we had, we'd drop it into a Dropbox file, email it to the other dudes, and be like, "What do you like?" Edit it out, and then we'd send it back to each other. We never recorded the album in the same room once.
Wow.
None of us. Vocals, guitars, bass, drums were all done at separate times. We were never together. It was all done by file sharing.
Wow.
Saved a killing. Decided instead of spending all the money on the studio for recording, we'll pay really good guys to mix it
Yep.
and master it.
Yep.
So we saved all of our money on recording by doing it ourselves with, I use Logic.
Pro Tools.
Some guys use Pro Tools, some guys use, whatever, blah, 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 whatever program they're using.
Yep.
But it all comes down to a WAV file, right?
Yep.
Who gives a shit? It's a WAV file.
Yep.
So we put it all together, we share it back and forth, back and forth. I get the album together, I send it off to a guy to mix it. He mixes it, we go, yep, sounds good, no, tweak this, tweak that, blah, blah, blah. Gets done, okay, everything sounds killer. Send it off to a guy to master it, he masters it, and then we go, all right, cool, let's put it out. So we send it off to a guy to distribute it. Saved a fortune.
Yeah.
And I ran into my old record label owner when I was in Vegas for Psycho Las Vegas recently. And he was like, oh, so, how much did you spend to record the record? And I was like, well, this is what I spent. And he's like, fuck you. Pretty much he was pissed at me because I said, but I'd sell it. I'd gladly sell it to you for twice what I paid for it.
Right.
I'd gladly do that,
Was he kind of upset, because I guess people at that level who work at that level really are just kind of becoming obsolete now? To an extent.
Yeah, man, record labels, they're the unnecessary middleman. And I hate to say that because, I trust me, I would love to be on a record label. I really want to be on because there's things
all they can do now really is just the distribution part.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know how important that is, man. Record labels can do things that a single band guy cannot do. I mean, like if you want to throw out, if you want to be a guy, that throws out a hit single, that's one thing. But in the metal industry, in heavy metal, what we do, you can think about, heavy metal has 4 bazillion subgenres, right? And each subgenre has 4 bazillion more subgenres. How do you fit into the realm? So if you could have somebody just kind of wrangle it in and focus it and put it out to your target audience, that would be great. And that's where record labels are beneficial. They don't do the 100,000 record deals anymore, the $100,000 deals anymore. They don't give you the gigantic budgets. You're not going to go platinum. It's just not going to happen, man. But what record labels can do is focus your attention and get it to your target audience, which is difficult. It's hard to do that just by buying ads on the social media or whatever, social platform you want to be on. It's very difficult to do that on your own. So record labels still have value. It's just redirected value compared to where it was 15 years ago when I was doing PITBULL.
Yeah. And I was also really excited to see you guys working with Freeman Publicity. He's a great guy. And I know that he's helping Thunderhorse get that press that you guys so rightly deserve. And I've been reading a lot of the reviews that the EP is getting. Seems like it's getting some good reception out there. And we're not just talking here in San Antonio or the state, but all over the country and the world.
Yeah, John Freeman has been doing it. He did a great job for us. And we used him for a while. And, that's another thing. Not being a signed band, not having really a foundation and a direction to go with a release that was already out. John did a great job getting us where we needed to go. Freeman PR.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to we found out where we're selling records and we're focusing on those markets. The European market, specifically Eastern European, as well as the South American market, is really buying into what we're doing. America is a great market, but it's so saturated, right? Everybody's doing music, and it's there's a lot of good shit coming out.
Yeah.
So it's hard to compete when you don't have a label, you don't have this, you don't have that. So you have to go where people are buying it, right? Yeah, you gotta go where the demand is.
So before we move on from the record, quickly, Bishop, I have to ask you, lyrically, what are you saying in this record? I hear a lot of dark overtones.
Yeah, the album is kind of a culmination of a lot of conversations. I can go from one song to the next and tell you about each and every song.
Holistically.
Yeah. Holistically, it is a very dark album. I said it's about, you got to think about it, for the last 12 years, we've been in a perpetual state of war, right? For the first time ever in the history of the United States of America, we've had an entire generation that grew up during a perpetual state of war. Whose fault is that? Is it ours? Is it the government? Is it...
It's the greedy oil companies.
Those bastards. That's just a byproduct of it, dude.
Don't worry, I'm going to edit that out.
It's just a byproduct.
I don't want some hitman from Exxon to come kill me.
I'll put a good word in for you.
Please. I've been supporting the metal scene for 20 years. Don't kill him.
So if you listen to the album, like from start to finish, like there's a definite. It's not a conceptual album, but it definitely has a theme.
Right.
You know, and it kind of goes through. And then there's like some dark stuff, like some more like stuff that is important to me, the more occult, things like that. Like Blood Ritual to me is very. Blood Ritual was inspired by my very, very, very good friends in Electric Hellfire Club, Thomas Thorne and Richter Ravensbrook. Thomas sent me a picture that he painted in the mail, and I had it up on my wall, and it inspired me to write that song. It's kind of like...
It's a dark, occultish type of...
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture, and Thomas is a fantastic artist, Reverend Thorne, and it's very ominous, and it just spoke to me. And it'd be like if I was in the place of, say, Aleister Crowley. If I was Crowley, what would I say to you? That's kind of one of those things, and that's what I love about that song, Blood Ritual. Then you have Coming Home, which Coming Home, the debut track on the album, like the first track on the record, is about me coming back to the music industry.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything, war, occult, Satan, it has nothing to do with that. It's about me just going, I'm back, man. This is how I feel. I've got these trepidations, I'm a little bit worried about this, I'm worried about that. I hope you like what I'm doing, So it's that's what Coming Home's about. And then you go into like Liber et Christ Militatem Plea, which is it's like it just goes on and on and on. There's a lot of reference to war that's happening because, like I said, we have an entire generation of people that grow up during wartime, whether it's Afghanistan, Iraq, and so on and so on. There's a lot of shit happening in the world. And these are people that I grew up with, people that are my friends, people that come home different than when they left. Right. So I sat down and I listened to them. I heard what they had to say, and then I watched TV. I pay attention to what's going on, whether it's conservative news, liberal news.
I read your posts on Facebook, and you're very political.
I'm extremely political, and I don't want to get into that shit. But
you care about stuff like that. You care about what's happening around the world, and I say that because I think a lot of people in our country, if it's not happening in their own backyard, they're just kind of numb to it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this right now: don't believe everything you hear, man. It's like Big Brother's real.
Yeah.
1984 was written, and it's a fucking template of what's going on right now.
Right.
And the only true enemy that we have is the government. I don't care if you're right or left or in the middle. It doesn't matter. They're the fucking enemy.
Yeah.
And they're trying to manipulate everything that happens in your life. Yeah. But don't let them do it. It's your life. Your life. Yeah. Don't let them control you, because that's the way our founders did not set it up that way.
Yeah.
The government is supposed to be the least important thing in your life. And if you wake up every day full of hate and anger and deleting friends and posting, and you're just fucking pissed because somebody posted, said, "Make America Great Again," then you're a fucking dumbass. I mean, really, you're a dumbass. It shouldn't mean that much to you. It shouldn't be that fucking important. And if it is that important to you, then they've won.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't. The executive office should be the least impacted office in your entire life.
Right.
And if you truly feel that your entire existence is turned upside down because of that, then you've done something wrong.
Right.
It's truly not correct.
You guys have a big show coming up tomorrow, and I'm glad that I'm finally going to be able to... Nice segue, huh? we weren't supposed to...
Sorry.
It's okay. I love it. That's why we do these things. So you guys got a big show coming up. Yeah, exactly. De-stress him. Give him another beer.
Matter.
You guys got a big show coming up tomorrow at Boo Sounds. Sunday, September 2nd. Unfortunately, you know, this will air afterwards. Big Dave, you guys did that show at the Mix, and I was not privy to that show. I really wanted to go. I can't remember. I think it was a school night or something. I got to get up super early, so I wasn't going to be able to make it. But
Thursday.
yeah. And so
You didn't make it?
no, I did not make it.
Fantastic!
Oh, I know. So tell me about it. What was the reception like?
I was fantastic!
Did you feel that the show was good? I mean, what did the fans say?
Yeah. I mean, it's our first show. I mean, we were, you know, as practiced as we could be. I thought it went great. Good crowd. You know, club treated us great.
I also love what they've done with the Mix too. So I remember since the days that we used to hang out there.
Definitely different. It's definitely different than it used to be. You know, it's. I'll give major props to Loy Smoke, DJ Loy. You know, and Loy's keeping our type of metal, our type of music, very much alive and well in San Antonio. You know, so Loy's doing like a lot of doom. You know, he's doing a lot of just dirty rock and roll. He's doing really great stuff, and he's doing it like at places like Faust. He's doing it at the Mix. He's doing it at other venues in town. He's really doing well. So
Is that the guy that just spins vinyl?
yeah, Lloyd.
I think I've seen him.
Curly hair.
I think I've met him once. I don't really know him on a personal level. But great. So tomorrow, you guys are going to do this show at Boo Sounds. It's free. Lots of people I anticipate are going to come out and support the event. We will be there. I heard you guys might have some special treats for the fans. So go ahead and spill the beans now, because like I said, this is going to air afterwards.
It will not only be sonically, it'll be visually as well. So
Okay, cool.
we're hoping to like really kind of take it to the next level. You know, that's one thing.
You mean like you're gonna have like hot chicks on stage? Because I remember PITBULL DAYCARE always had chicks on stage.
There'll be no chicks in cages this time. You know, it's a new world. I don't know if we can do that. We might get in trouble for that now, but you know, that's the one thing that we can't quite let go of. You know, it's like, you know, sonically, and I always tell people is I want Thunder Horse to kind of be like, if you took, you know, my biggest inspiration, Jane's Addiction, with a band's biggest inspiration, like say Black Sabbath, and put it with sonically something like, or visually Pink Floyd, and sonically The Who. You know, so if you took like our 4 huge influences, Jane's Addiction, Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, and The Who, people that we just, you know, love, grew up on, people that we want to emulate, and you wrapped it all up in one. Every time we play a show, we're trying to get to that level. So you know, we did our first show. Now we're doing our next show.
Okay.
It's going to keep building and building and building. We're trying to take it to that level of where, you know, where people just go, holy shit. If I could see that once a year, I would be a complete person. That's what we want.
I remember I used to feel that way about PITBULL DAYCARE shows.
Yeah, PITBULL, we always try to take it, you know, like I said, man, it was the 90s and the early 2000s, and people were...
I always wanted to see, like, what you came out dressed at, your outfit, and then, like, you guys had the visuals, and people dancing up on stage, and it was always something really cool, and I remember when going to a PITBULL show, I never, like, knew what to expect.
Yeah. And if I couldn't find anything to wear, I'd wear nothing at all.
Yeah.
It was just whatever. You know, it's just one of those things. But, well, you know, I can't do that anymore. You know, it's like a little older now, a little more mature. And it's a different world, you know. Yeah. But I would love to come out wearing nothing but electrical tape and a Dixie cup. It'd be fucking fantastic, man.
It doesn't go well with sludge.
No, it'd be kind of weird. It'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, so we anticipate the big show tomorrow. We're going to be out there, like I said, having a good time. I don't go to Boo Sounds quite very often, but for special occasions like your show, I will. You guys did a video, released a video for Demon Speak. I guess it's the first single. Yeah. And we have to give props to Artist 77, Kim, our girl. Where is she at? She's around here somewhere. There she is. There's Kim. There's Artist 77. She is becoming well known in our city. Is doing some awesome video work. She did the video for Demon Speak. I kind of was, you know, because I follow her on Instagram. I see kind of her all behind the scenes shots and stuff like that. How important was it for you guys to kind of get this video out and kind of help kind of share the music through that kind of medium?
It's been awesome to have working with Kim, actually, because, you know, there's a very close tie within the band, obviously. You know, and we've been following Kim. Like, Kim's done some work with bands that were on our former label, Cleopatra. you know, and we've been watching what she's doing and like the stuff she's putting out. And she doesn't just do like your, you know, she doesn't just film the band, put a few effects on it, and throw it out. Right. She really takes time and like gets artistically involved with it. So we're very happy to be working with her, and we're excited. Just so you know, we have a couple of more coming out very, very soon. Cool. Like a couple more surprises coming out. So we're super duper. I'm personally excited to see what happens because I've been like kind of sending this stuff her way, going.
When are they gonna come out?
Pressure's on.
I'm hoping in about this month.
Yeah.
Okay. This next month, I'm actually down the wire.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping it comes out next month.
No pressure.
Yeah.
What about the acoustics?
Oh yeah. Tomorrow we're actually shooting the band Audit Collector. Kim does an acoustic thing.
Oh, okay.
Where we're going to go down and we're it's very cool. She's done some stuff. You check out her website, Video 77.
Yes.
It's at Video 77. If you check out her stuff, you'll see a lot of acoustic stuff in the basement. And so what we're doing is we're going down tomorrow with the guys
Before the show.
Yeah, we're doing an acoustic version of "Pray for Rain," the final song on the album,
Cool.
which is a "Pray for Rain" to me is like it's one of my favorite songs. It's different, you know. It's an interesting twist on the music. It's kind of a creepy waltz. So I'm super duper excited to do this tomorrow.
Will that be released as a video or just kind of like a social media kind of video?
I think we're going to release that as a video, right? Yeah.
Like a real video. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, great. Seems like there's a lot going on, new videos in the works. And before we kind of end out also, too, you know, you guys are doing, you know, these choice shows. You know, I'm glad to see because sometimes I kind of feel bands play out a little too much. But because of the circumstances of you in Galveston and Big Dave in Oklahoma, obviously it may not be as easy to kind of play out as much. But what do you foresee as plans for the rest of this year as kind of we enter into the fall? What would you like to do in support of the debut?
Well, I know this is going to air after the show we're doing September 2nd, but we will be back at the Paper Tiger on October 19th
Nice.
with Monster Magnet.
Oh,
They're playing the front room. We're putting together a show in the back room. So
Yeah.
I don't know when we're playing. We may play early. We may play late. I don't know. But I would say, you know, Monster Magnet, big influence, great guys, you know. So I would say come out and check out the show. And from there on out, you know, the scheduling is a little difficult with the guys in the band. But we're hoping to get some more shows like in my neck of the woods, Houston.
Yeah.
Dave's neck of the woods, you know, which is like a Dallas, Oklahoma area.
Yeah.
And then, you know, San Antonio, even though we live other places, this truly is our home.
Yeah.
So, you know, we want to establish a core crowd, a core audience, bring our fans into our new stuff and like move from there. So, but we're hoping to do other things.
Gentlemen, really, I can't thank you enough for coming over tonight. What a great chat. And it's been quite extensive, and I'm happy because that's why we do these things. Even though it doesn't seem like it's been that long, we've been chatting for quite some time. Any last words? Anything you want to share with the people out there that maybe I was remiss not to cover, or anything else that you want to say to people who will see this interview around the world?
I just say buy the record. Check us out. I think the record turned out great, and I'm very, very happy to be part of it.
Great.
And I feel the same thing. You know, check us out at Bandcamp or iTunes, Spotify, whatever digital media you have. The vinyl will be out later in the fall. Ooh. And when the vinyl comes out, because, you know, I'm a vinyl guy.
Yeah.
And really, honestly, that's the whole reason I even did this band, because I've never put out a record, and I wanted to put a fucking record out.
Nice.
You know?
Nice.
So we're gonna do a big vinyl release in the fall, and when we do that, then we're hoping that everybody comes out and, you know, and parties with us. And I can't wait for the big needle dropping party. It's gonna be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I love vinyl too. Oh, you're welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's always my honor to have people like you in our home studio to chat and really kind of focus on what we're discussing. Remember, everyone out there, the big show. You probably missed it, or maybe you didn't. But tomorrow is going to be at Booze Hounds. And if you go to any other shows, you can get a nice, cool shirt like I have on. See this very cool Thunder Horse shirt?
Fantastic.
Get your own, because they kick ass. I'm sure you can get it online somewhere too. You saw the band right here only on Rob's MetalWorks.